Hey, what's up, y'all? Here we are back in episode 3 of Lucky Mountain, Sing Fu Shan. So in this episode, we are going to be, like I promised in the last, we're going to be just kind of cleaning up, or not cleaning up, but bringing this entrance area together, trying to make it look a little more cohesive. Because so far, all we've worked on are the paths, the dragon, and the Paifang, the entrance gate. So now what I'm doing is creating a little platform for the dragon to stand on. You're going to see me saving quite often in this episode because I had a few problems with No Limits crashing. I've heard some other people talking about that as well since the last update. I don't know if I'm having the same problems as them, but I definitely had a really weird problem where I made this platform once and then just all of a sudden the screen went blank, except the piece selection tool at the bottom appeared, and no matter if I reopened the park or anything like that, it just was black on the screen. So fortunately I saved multiple copies, so I just had to rebuild this one part again, and it came out pretty well. I really like how this looks, especially on the water. It's a nice way to highlight the dragon. I like it a lot. So in this episode we're building a little backdrop. These items, I'll talk about them when we get to them. So for now, the reason I'm putting some of this forward, or pulling some of these pieces forward, is because I wanted the legs at the bottom to be sticking out just for the support. And here what I'm doing is using these pieces, and I had the idea of making sort of a parquet floor from this. And it's an interesting idea, actually. I like the way this turns out, and I think, obviously it's not a full-on parquet, but I think I might try to do something like that. It might be really interesting to see parquet. Maybe I'll do it in this build, because this build is already becoming extremely detailed. So I might go ahead and try to make a real parquet with like different pieces and really intricate, and see if I can do something like that, because I know there are definitely Chinese parquet floors, so I think I might do something like that. We'll see. But I like the way this turns out as is. Just that sort of pattern looks nice with the dragon. So now you see he's got a little platform to stand on. He's looking very handsome. I also gave him a name, by the way. His name is Bob. My friend Johnathan suggested that, and I liked it, so we're going to roll with that. So I'm just going to to put some lanterns around this to light it up. I'll also light him up a little bit. Again, lighting is not one of the things I'm really good at. I need to get better at that. I think I tend to not use enough light. So let me know when you see this what you think. If you think it's still needs some more lights, because I do try to put some spotlights and so forth, and so that he's visible at night, but I think I could probably put more. I don't know if I have the tendency not to put enough. So the next thing we will do, here we go, there's Bob. He's lit up, well, partially lit up. We're gonna light him some more. So the next thing we're going to do is build these sort of dividers. They're almost like room dividers, but they're much larger. I've seen these in a Chinatown market before, and I've seen pictures of them online where they're used to just sort of separate the areas. So I make some 3 of them, or I actually make 5, but I'm going to remove 2 of them because I think it's just a little too repetitive. But once we get the dragon finished up, we'll do those. And these things came out really well, I have to say. I did them twice, actually. I did a set at first, which I didn't. They were okay. I mean, they were just kind of plain. And at first I thought, well, that's what I want, because I just want them to kind of blend into the woodwork. And here we go. We're starting on that, or blend into the woods behind them. But then I decided, no, the platform and the dragon are fancy. Let me do something fancy with these as well, just to make them a little more, you can see the other ones there for a split second. You can see them. So I instead made them a little more golden, and I put a design on them. Once I got going with it, I thought, well, this needs some kind of design on it. And I was thinking about traditional, this is more Chinese and Japanese watercolor paintings, and oftentimes they feature cherry blossoms and things like that. So I wanted to do something like that, which is extremely intricate. So you'll see in just a few minutes what the solution I come up with is, and it turns out looking really good. I really like the way it looks. I'm really happy with the way this front area is coming along, and I think in general that this build is going to be something kind of special. I generally don't put this much detail into things, or if I do, I only do a small area. So I'm taking my time with it. I'm trying to do the best I can. I'm learning a lot that how to use pieces and so forth that I didn't know before. So I'm really pleased with the way this is looking so far, and I think it's going to end up being something that I can really be proud of. So I hope you like it too. And also, I have this listed down in the description, but this is actually dedicated to a friend of mine who died last year. So, and he was Chinese. So I want this to be good. I really want it to be good. So, in other news, I will be going to Dorney Park and Knoebels this weekend. So I'll definitely have some video from that. Just reviews, or just a general overview of the park. I'll have ride reviews, that sort of thing, all coming up. Got a lot of footage, got a lot of nice camera equipment I bought recently, so I should be able to get some good shots if I can improve my skills as a photographer or videographer. So I'm looking forward to that. I have not been to Dorney Park in quite some time, and I've actually never ridden Talon, so I'm looking forward to riding that. Every time I've been, it's been closed, and also, well, it hadn't been built the last time, or the first few times I went there, and the last time I went there it was closed. So and Knoebels is always a good time. I mean, that's a great park, and I can't wait to ride the Phoenix and the Twister, and also their that other ride, I never can remember the name of it, the yellow and blue one, which I think I've referred to as Gerstlauer, but I'm not 100% certain if that's what it is. But that was actually closed the last time I was there as well, so I have not ridden that either. So I'll get 2 credits, visit 2 nice parks. I'll have a good time. Dorney's a pretty fun park. They've got not the best rides in the world, but I definitely like the Morgan Hyper. It was way better than what I thought it was going to be, and I actually like the Floorless B&M. I know a lot of people don't, but I think it's a good ride. All right, so just to skip back to this for a minute, you see here what I was doing. I decided, okay, I'm going to try to do this watercolor image of cherry blossoms, and I was going to use these trees as a guide for whatever piece I eventually decided to use to make the branches. But instead, I was like, well, let me just use this branch right here. I know it's three-dimensional and it doesn't look like a painting now so much, but more like a relief or something like that. But I decided to roll with it. It turned out looking really good. In my opinion. I did pretty much just copy and paste the branch that I came up with to 2 different panels. I was trying to make it look like the trees were coming from sort of different directions and so forth, and I didn't want to go overboard with it too. I didn't think it needed to be so decorated because it's already very colorful and bright. I didn't think it needed to be so decorated that it interfered with the dragon, which is really supposed to be the centerpiece of this area. So I just kind of did copied and pasted it twice, and then place these screens, as I'm calling them, around the area. So again, I think this came out really well. This was something totally unplanned, unexpected, something I came up with on the spur of the moment, and that's one of the things I like about just doing these creative projects like this. It's fun to see what you can come up with. Sometimes you can really surprise yourself. And in this instance, that's definitely what happened, because I'm actually quite happy with this. I mean, it may not seem that special or spectacular to anyone else, but it really makes me happy. I think it looks really good. So, so I did actually just got an email from Knoebels Grove saying that I can take my GoPro on the rides and so forth. So I should have some decent footage of that as well. I'm really looking forward to riding the Phoenix again. That's such a great ride. The Twister is a good ride too. Unfortunately, it doesn't get as much love as the Phoenix. It just gets totally outshined by the Phoenix. But it is a good ride. And like I said, I think the Floorless B&M at Dorney is really unique. I think that's one of the things I like about it so much, is that it's so different from most B&Ms. So I know it doesn't get a lot of love, like I said before, but I'm looking forward to riding that again. So in the next episode of Sing Fu Shan, what we're going to do is, I think, finally come close, at least, to finishing up this front area. I know that I'm going to create some buildings that will house food and drinks and that kind of thing. And then I'll probably make this area a little wooded. I might make some custom trees that look a little bit more what you might find in a stereotypical Chinese garden. They, from my research, they don't look as like the Japanese versions that we see so often of sort of the very pruned and so forth trees. From what I can tell, I'll do some more research on that because I'd like it to be as close to authentic as possible. But definitely I'll put some fences up, and I think that the whole front area of the park will start to come together. And then the next thing we'll work on after that is a flat ride cover, which is going to be extremely intricate. Again, this whole build is based on a picture I showed you in the previous episode of the Tengwang Pavilion in China, and I definitely have some ideas of how this building is going to look. It's going to be very intricate, so we'll see if my skills hold out or if they improve. Hopefully, I feel like I'm getting better. I definitely feel like this is one of my better builds. So, incidentally, this park is extremely piece heavy. That cover right there alone is almost 4,000 pieces. So it would be impossible to maintain this level, I think, for an entire park. So this is obviously just going to be the two little areas: the entrance area, the flat ride, and the coaster. And I also have some ideas for how the coaster is going to work. I'm looking forward to that. Like I said before, it's going to be called Dragon's Breath. It's going to be a suspended coaster. And I definitely have some ideas of how it's going to interact with the terrain and the paths and so forth. So I think it's going to be great. So that's about it for me in this episode. I'm just going to continue placing these roofs here. You'll see then that I copy and paste this screen around 3 times here, so it serves as a backdrop for the dragon. And then I actually put 2 more on the side, which I'm going to remove, I believe. I'm going to build the food and bathrooms in the next building. We'll see if I keep that there or not. But otherwise, that's it for this episode. I will leave you with some cinematics, just so you can see this in real time, see what it looks like. And I will see you next time. Enjoy the ride.